Is it finally time to call Marcell Ozuna a must-add? With Brandon Pfaadt getting called back up, should we give him just one more chance? Join us today where we provide you with the best players to add heading into this weekend on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino, here as always with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, my better half, Matthew Arnett.
Yep.
You can find us on all social media platforms and podcasting apps. If you're listening on one like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly, truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes you to the channel, also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and comment. Lastly, but most importantly, please subscribe to us on the Subtext website. The Subtext website is a one-on-one personalized platform where Matt and I will talk one-on-one with you, answering all of your fantasy baseball questions and providing you with instant alerts featuring call-ups, injuries, and all of that goodies, plus much, much more. But real quick, folks, today's episode is brought to you by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, always guaranteed. Locked On Fantasy Baseball fans, we have a fully loaded episode for you today. As always, let us be your team's secret weapon as we provide you with the best must-add players for this weekend. Matt, my brother, who do we have up first?
Got you. You did good there, man. You didn't run out of breath. Proud of you.
Yeah, that one actually kind of went smooth. That one kind of went smooth today.
Good job, man. I'm proud. All right, let's talk about Mr. Marcell Ozuna. Somebody that I have mixed signals about whether I should add him or not because he hasn't been all that consistent, but he's putting together a decent year through 224 at bats at 33 runs, 16 bombs, 37 ribs, and batting about 250. The reason that he's even on this show is because his last week's performance with 3 runs, 3 bombs, 7 ribs, and batting about 320. Marcell Ozuna, honestly, he seems like he's just in this stage in his career. He's very streaky. He'll go off for like 2-3 weeks and then disappear for about 2-3 weeks. Right now, he's on Adam, and then when he drops, you drop him. That's how just my outlook on Marcell Ozuna. I'm not running out there to go get him, but honestly, if I'm struggling, if I'm dealing with injuries, or my team just isn't performing up and I need to boost in my lineup, Marcell Ozuna is the perfect ad for you to give you that little boosty boost in the lineup, and that's Marcell Ozuna.
Well, Matt, I don't fully agree with you. I think Ozuna is. I would honestly, I might call him a must-add at this point. He had a really bad start to the season. His April was pretty atrocious, but over the last couple of months, he's really turned things on. If you even look at Ozuna over the last 30 days, 12 runs, 5 homers, 15 RBIs, 282 batting average, and he's been hitting like 5th to 6th, some days even 4th in that Braves lineup. We all know that Braves lineup is one of the best in baseballs. So the RBIs are going to be there for Ozuna. The run should be decent. We all know Ozuna's got, very, very good pop. This season is very similar. No, not very similar, but somewhat similar to that 2020 where Ozuna made a run at the MVP award. Batting average is nowhere near where it was that year, but the home runs, 16 for him in 63 games this year, 60 games in 2020, he had 18 bombs. The RBIs are nowhere near, but the runs are close to 38 in 2020, 33 this year for Ozuna so far. So Ozuna could literally contribute in almost 4 categories because don't forget, he's always been a pretty solid batting average guy too over his whole career, 267 batting average, and he's been hitting, for batting average over the last 2 months as well. So Matt, I don't know, going against your own rule here with the batting average off the waiver wire. I don't know, man. But 46% owned for Ozuna. I think if you need homers, you need RBIs, definitely add Ozuna in leagues where you need those categories filled. But, at 32 years old, he's definitely not a guarantee. But I think Ozuna is definitely worth the add at the moment. One of my better guys that I would say to add so far for this weekend. Next one, we got a young buck that got called up literally the day we did the podcast. We did the Must Add podcast, and, we kind of missed out on talking about him, but we're going to talk about him today, and it's Jordan Westburg. Those Orioles finally looking like they're going to call some of these young guns up. Looks like they're going for the one-at-a-time approach, though. They don't want to, throw off their whole lineup at once with a bunch of these young guns, and I still can't wait to see Grayson Rodriguez because I think he's going to be up sooner than later, too. But Jordan Westburg has looked pretty good so far in his, major league debut here. He's actually 1-for-1 today as well, so that 429 batting average is looking even better. It's probably closer to 460, 470 at this point. He does only have 1 run and 1 RBI so far. He's been hitting 7th or 8th in that Orioles lineup over his first 3 games. He's 41% owned on Yahoo. Shortstop eligible at the moment, but I think he's going to gain second base eligibility, possibly third base eligibility. They're moving him around that infield to keep him in the lineup so far through his first couple of games. Jordan Westburg in the minors was absolutely dominating before he got the call. I will give you some of those stats. And Westburg's only 24 years old, still pretty young for the kid. I think he's, going to have a pretty solid future ahead of him. Let's talk about that 2022 minor league season for Westburg. 138 games, 544 at-bats, 96 runs, 39 doubles. That is not a typo. That's 39 doubles, 3 triples, 27 homers, 106 RBIs, 12 steals, 265 batting average. So Westburg can contribute in all 5 categories. The speed doesn't blow you away. I think he's going to be like an 8 to 10 steal type of guy, for a full season. So maybe this year, the rest of the way, maybe we see like 5, 6 steals from Westburg. Could be more, could be underselling him here, but the speed is an elite thing. The power is what's real for Westburg. The power is super legit. Could hit you 15, 16, 17 home runs the rest of the way. The runs and the RBI should be good in that Orioles lineup as well. To be honest with you, I think Westburg is a must-add at the moment too.
Great job, Dom. I completely agree with everything you said. And just a heads up, Diamond Club members actually got the alert the second he did get the call. So, we did give you our instant take in the moment. So if you want stuff like that, join. And not to be a salesman, I'm going to move on. We're going to talk about Mr. James Outman. Somebody that cooled off after having one of the hottest starts of the season and, who was smoking the cover off the ball. It looks like he's eating up. Through 2 weeks, he's batting about 297. Last week, he batted about 316. He hasn't hit any power yet and really hasn't been tacking in the counting stats yet. He had between 2 weeks, 3 runs and about 5 ribs and a stolen base. Honestly, when I see a batter that showed a lot of pop in the beginning and that was hot and now is starting to catch that groove through 2 weeks, there's literally like Mount Vesuvius is about to explode, and James Outman could just blow up at any moment and return to that early season form. So he's dropped a lot because he was about like 80% owned at one point. And now he's all the way down to 34. So he's out there in leagues. So I 100% recommend going to add him because if Mount Vesuvius blows, James Outman can be, that boost going into the playoffs and somebody at the trade deadline in your fantasy leagues that you might be able to sell even higher on. Because I just scooped him up in a league I just traded him in, and I just picked him back up. So, things come full circle. I might be able to dump him again. So, James Outman right now, in my opinion, is a must-add, and, watch Mount Vesuvius blow.
Yeah, we honestly have a lot of great bats, today. And before we move on to a catching prospect that we talked about previously, who's actually starting to heat up, we got Colorado's Rocky player that's also heating up a lot. And, the Arizona Diamondback, the reason I got the Diamondbacks gear on, I mentioned them at the top of the episode. So if you're paying attention, you have an idea of who I might be talking about. But before we do all of that, want to just talk to you about a sponsor real quick, a great sponsor. Have you ever tried to buy tickets to see your favorite artist or sports team and wound up being stressed out by how much of a hassle it can be? Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. That's why you need to check out the Gametime app. Gametime is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Using the Gametime app is super rewarding with flash deals and last-minute tickets, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, images and views from the seats you'll be sitting in, lowest price guarantee, and event cancellation protection. I mean, there's a reason it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets and the lowest prices always guaranteed. And everydayers and new listeners, we've got exciting news for you regarding our podcast. Matt and I are thrilled to introduce our new campaign on the Subtext website, where we'll be offering an in-depth, personalized experience just for you. By subscribing to Locked On Fantasy Baseball on the Subtext website and becoming a member of the exclusive Everydayers Diamond Club, you'll gain unlimited direct access to us through one-on-one texting conversations. As a part of the Diamond Club, you'll receive instant alerts and expert opinions on prospect call-ups, injuries, and detailed waiver wire recommendations. But that's not all. We'll also be promptly answering all of your fantasy baseball questions, and we're always here for you to talk about baseball whenever you want. Subscribing to our Subtext service will give you a significant advantage over your competition and greatly increase your chances of winning an Everydayers championship. You can find the link to subscribe in the description of this video, podcast, and on our link tree, which is available in all of our social media bios. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Sign up now for a free 14-day trial with Matt and I by your side. We'll help you bring home that coveted Everydayers championship. Join us on Subtext today. Guys, don't want to miss out on this one. Our Diamond Club members so far have been absolutely loving it. As Matt mentioned, instant alert when there's a prospect call-up so you can run to your waiver wire and pick them up right away, plus much, much more. You know, we're throwing in a few guys every time we do a waiver wire episode, and usually those guys are dudes you don't want to miss out on. But real quick, I know I'm talking so much. I'm going to do my quick take on James Outman, then I'm going to pass the next guy over to my brother. With James Outman, I don't know if he's my top guy for all of the dudes we're talking about today as far as bats go. I know we have a lot of good ones, but as Matt mentioned, there's a lot of upside with Outman. We saw it earlier in the season. Outman, you know, his ownership percentage fell to 34% after, you know, the hot start. He really cooled off. Over the last few days, he's been good. A 3-hit game on June 23rd against Houston with 2 runs. He had 2 hits in Colorado on the 27th, which was yesterday, 2 days ago when you're listening to this. Outman does have the upside. Let's just talk about that monster 2022 Outman had in the minors. 125 games, 473 at-bats, 101 runs, 31 doubles, 7 triples, 31 homers, 106 RBIs, 13 steals, 294 batting average. Outman does have 5 tools, potential to help contribute in every single category. I like James Outman. I kind of would put him a little bit under Marcell Ozuna. So if you missed out on Ozuna and Outman's there in your league, definitely give Outman the chance. But Matt, my brother, who are we talking about next? I know this guy is somebody that I personally like.
Yeah, we're talking about Mr. Henry Davis, somebody we really haven't give any actual take on since he's been up. Henry Davis is about 45% owned, so he's still available in a lot of leagues. I think he should be added. Something I really do like about Davis too is he has outfield eligibility, which means that they're finding ways to keep him on the field each and every day, which is hard to come by with some catchers because, you know, catchers don't always play every day. You know, unless you're JT Realmuto, it's pretty hard to stay on the field because they give you those rest breaks. So Henry Davis, 1, has it. 2, here's the other stuff about him. 1, he just hit a home run the other day left the bat at 100.5 miles per hour and went 405 feet. The kid's got legit power. Like, I love Henry Davis for that. And he can chip in some stolen bases. This year in the minors to 183 at bats, he had 9 stolen bases already on the year. So he does have some legit speed. As to where that ceiling is, I'm not exactly sure, but I could probably bank it around. It'll be more of a 20 stolen base guy or get scratching pretty close to it. I mean, the power is going to be there without a doubt because the kid's got power out the wazoo. He's hitting about 276 so far through 29 at bats in the bigs. He has 2 runs, two doubles, a bomb, 2 ribs, a stolen base already, and batting 276. I love it. I think Henry Davis has a lot of upside. He was one of my favorite prospects coming into this year, you know, and for a catcher coming up, you know, he ain't no Aldi Rutschman, but, you know, he's a nice consolation prize. I'll tell you that much. So Henry Davis, in my opinion, honestly, after Jordan Westburg, I'm pretty much adding Henry Davis. That's my second number 2 guy out of this all these names.
Yeah, if you need a catcher, or you've had a catcher that's been underperforming so far, one of the Contreras brothers, Tyler Stevenson, Alejandro Kirk, in shallower formats, I'm dumping those guys and I'm riding the Henry Davis train. Honestly, the kid's got so much tremendous upside. I think Matt read you off those stats from the minors. He's always hit for a pretty solid batting average, legitimate power, legitimate speed. The plate discipline is pretty good. In the minors this year, he had 40 walks to 46 strikeouts, so the plate discipline is actually pretty elite. Out of the 9 games he's played so far, including today, Henry Davis has a hit in at least 7 of those games. So, the batting average is a legit thing. The guy honestly has 5 tools. That Pirates lineup is up and down, but they've been hot, they've been cold. So I think Henry Davis is another bat in that lineup that's going to be a catalyst. Over his last 2 games, including today, they've been hitting him 3rd in the lineup. I think that says a lot. And hey, wait till O'Neal Cruz comes back. When O'Neal Cruz comes back, that lineup's going to be even better than it is right now. And if Henry Davis is hitting around O'Neal Cruz in that lineup, it's going to mean a lot more runs, a lot more RBIs. So give Henry Davis an ed at 45% owned on Yahoo. And he should be owned in every single 2-catcher league at this point. If you play in a 2-catcher league and Davis is a free agent, absolutely add him right now. He would be an elite number 2 catcher. And I think, honestly, he would be a pretty solid number 1 as well. But let's move on to our last bat before we get into the pitching, and let's talk about Ezequiel Tovar. Ezequiel Tovar is one of the youngest players currently in the MLB right now, and Matt and I were pretty high on Tovar coming into the year. He was doing well in spring training. The 21-year-old Tovar is just I hate to keep saying this about everybody because not everybody's a 5-tool guy, but honestly, we really have a lot of great names today, and Tovar is the potential to be a 5-tool guy. Talk about that 2022 for Tovar in the minors, 71 games, 285 at-bats, 42 runs, 15 doubles, 3 triples, 14 homers, 49 RBIs, 17 steals, and a .319 batting average. And that, once again, that was all in 71 games for Tovar. So 14 homers and 17 steals in 71 games. That's well over 25-25 pace. And Tovar's been turning it around. I know he really struggled at the beginning of the year, but he's been looking better, especially over the last 2 weeks. Tovar has 3 runs, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, .371 batting average. And we know the rule, Matt. If they don't know, tell them, Matt, what's the rule? What's the rule, Matt?
Batting average off the waiver wire is almost a must-add.
Yes, sir. So, and Tovar's been hitting 1st or 2nd in that Colorado's Rockies lineup so far. Over the past, at least since June 15th, he's been hitting 2nd or 1st, which is a great spot in that lineup. I know the Rockies are starting to get healthier. KB's going to be back soon to join them. So Tovar, another must-add guy, 29% owned on Yahoo. That's unbelievable to me. At least 55-60% owned is where I think Tovar should be.
Yeah, I like Tovar's upside. I like the Coors Park upside. How I look at it is this. If I need a shortstop, I need stolen bases, Tovar's my guy. I think that, right now that's just the way it is. It's the best value you're going to get. And with that kind of owner's percentage, you probably want to step out there and get him, especially with the landscape of how shortstop's looking this year. But that's enough on Tovar. Dami did a fantastic job. And guys, I'm going to tease you one more time, so stick around. We got the guy that we mentioned up at the top of the show. We got a guy that everybody's been questioning. Should I drop him? Is he gonna live up to the hype? And we got a guy we love, and I don't know if we're gonna talk really highly about him, but you should stick around and find out. All right, and we're back. We're gonna talk about Mr. Brandon Pfaadt. Got it. I wanted to say Pfaadt, but it's Pfaadt. Mr. Pfaadt has came out and fought all over the minors. He started off absolutely horrendous in his major league debut, putting up a nice 8.37 ERA. He fought it and looks like he shot it because through 23 innings pitched, he had only 18 strikeouts to go with that ERA. And then his whip was a 1.648, absolutely atrocious. Now, the reason why we're talking about him is because of what he did in the month of June in the minors since being sent down. sometimes what happens is a player gets sent down and they don't, figure it out. But Pfaadt said, no, I'm going to stop being, a Pfaadt in the wind and start, putting a W in the win column. So he started having better and better starts. He wasn't getting lit up like he was in the beginning of his minor league season or in the bigs, and slowly worked himself down from a almost 5 ERA to now a 3.5 ERA, and put up a bunch of nice starts. And through the month of June, he had 25 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, and a 3.16 ERA. So he did his job. He figured out what was wrong, and now, hey, I'm ready to come back up. I'm ready to make a splash, and I'm willing to see what he's going to do. Pfaadt, I believe, has a tough matchup. I got to get that up, Dom, unless you know it off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think it's Tampa. I'm pretty sure it's Tampa.
Right. So here's how I'm treating him. If it is Tampa, I'm going to add him as a speculative ad, and I'm going to see how he does. And if he does nice, or he does like a 5 ERA and only has one inning where he got blown up, but looked good, put up the strikeouts, was able to keep the whip down, then Pfaadt's a keep, and I'll roll him out for the next matchup. If he goes out there and just looks like he's about to, poop in his big boy pants and turn that shark into a full-blown poop, I'm dumping him faster than you can think. It'll be like Mr. Hot Potato over here and see you later. So, Pfaadt, just, keep an eye on. He's definitely worth a speculative ad. He's not my number one pitcher going into this week, but he is definitely somebody that intrigues me. So definitely take a look at Mr. Pfaadt.
Yeah, Matt. I was just loving to see how many fart puns you could do, and you did me proud, brother. That was, I think there was at least around 10 of those puns in there, which I truly enjoyed. And I hope the fans enjoyed it as much as I did.
I'm still 7, bro.
The thing with hey man, we gotta keep ourselves and the fans entertained. So I think you do a stellar job with that. But with Pfaadt, Matt, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Big June in the minors, he had 5 starts down there. A lot of them, I think there was 2 or 3 double-digit strikeout games. My computer doesn't want to work with me. I'm pulling that up today, so I don't have those exact numbers for you, but I know. Was it 1? I thought he had at least 2 or 3.
He had a 10, a 7, and a 10, 7, and a 6.
Okay, all right.
But,
yeah, so
at least he did go deep in games. He had a 6-inning game and a 7-inning game.
Okay, so there we go. He's been, pretty good down there. As I said, that month of June has been very, very good for him down there. He's got great stuff too. The stuff is very, very good. But here's the thing: the control isn't great yet for Pfaadt. He kind of reminds me of a young Robbie Ray or a Max Scherzer, where they could strike everybody in the world out. But the control wasn't great, which sometimes leads to giving up home runs, leads to giving up hits, leads to walking guys. So when you have guys on base, it could just always be truly detrimental unless you have that pinpoint control and can settle down and work into it. But I like Pfaadt. I don't think this is going to be his breakout year. Maybe next year, the year after, we'll see Pfaadt, and improve and get to that point where, we all thought he can get. He's still 24. So, we got to cut the kid some slack. Not everybody comes up right away and is a Spencer Strider or an Abbott or Yuri Perez type. So I think we bear with them. If you're in a deeper league right now, I'd say like a 15 or, an NL only type of situation, you can give Pfaadt the chance. I'm not adding him in those shallow leagues yet, but I am throwing him on my watch list. He's 6% owned on Yahoo, so there is still time to definitely, grab him. But let's move on to somebody that's actually got called up. First bad start, dominant second start, and it's Gavin Williams. I mean, boy, oh boy, did this kid, I'm glad I held on to him in all the leagues that I did add him in, because Gavin Williams went out there against KC and did what we expected him to do. 7 innings, 6 Ks, no earned runs, and a 0.29 whip for Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams is only 40% owned on Yahoo. I think we need to go out there and snag him right now. Probably a last chance to grab him before, he blows up. But here's the real test. He gets Atlanta on his next start on July 3rd. So, it's kind of I wouldn't say make or break, but, it's kind of a put up or shut up for Gavin Williams. It's like, all right, Oakland beat him up. KC, he kind of settled down and looked good. Hopefully he can go 5 strong. I want, the Guardians to kind of know, okay, hey, listen, if he gives you 5, 6 good innings, call it there. Even if he has a low pitch count, don't throw him into the fire and the flames, because build the confidence in these young pitchers is the key to the game. And especially somebody like Gavin Williams, who doesn't, I believe, let's see, how many innings did he throw again last year? I think it was like 130, somewhere around there. Let me double check myself. In the minors last year, 115. So I was close. It was 115 for Gavin Williams in the minors last year. So he does still have a good amount of innings left in his arm for this season. I could see him 145, 150. You know, if he's looking good and he low stress innings where he's not putting a lot of guys on base, getting those 1, 2, 3 innings, ground balls. Maybe we see him for 150 this year. But, you know, like I said, don't throw the kid to the wolves yet. You know, let him build up some confidence in himself. I think Gavin Williams is somebody that you want to add now before the time runs up.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that he's not higher owned is just mind blowing, because honestly, he's looked outside of Yuri Perez pretty solid and probably one of the better arms that's been called up this year. I love Gavin Williams. I had somebody ask the other day, should they roll him out yesterday? And I said, hey, you know, Kansas City really doesn't look like they're much of a threat with Vinny Pasquantino out of the lineup. Perez isn't doing well. Melendez can't hit the ball for anything. So, you know, it was going to be a pretty much of a fluff matchup for him. So I think this was a confident booster. Yeah, Atlanta's going to be tough, but here's my thing now. I'm rolling him out every single game until I pretty much say I can't anymore, because he's gotten lit up too hard. Gavin Williams is a must add 100%. All right, let's move on. Thank you for saving this guy for me, Dom. Let's talk about Mr. Mike Soroka.
Gotcha, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Everybody knows I love Mike Soroka. Mike Soroka, honestly, got the call for like a quick little hot second this year, and then pooped in his big boy pants, and, you know, really couldn't take advantage of the opening in the lineup. You know, through 9 innings, which is like 2 starts, he had an 8.38 ERA. He had about 5 strikeouts through 9 innings. That's, you know, not great. And then had a 1.862 whip. It really wasn't wonderful. But once he went back down to the minors over the last like 3 weeks, he has been getting it together. He turned his higher ERA, which was like a mid-4, all the way down to a 3.31. Pitched about 54 innings and had 53 strikeouts, which is a nice turn of events for him. So I like Mike Soroka's upside, but this isn't a guaranteed start. There is definitely a bigger step going from the minors to the bigs. Mike Soroka is still, you know, dusting off the rust, and it may take him a month or so to really get the course correct, but I'm willing to add him now and kind of see what he does and kind of play him more against the matchup than an everyday starter, where I think he can be down the stretch of this season. But right now, what I'll do is I'll just roll him out based off of whether I think he's going to take advantage of the matchup. It looks like he's going to get the start Friday against Miami, so I am willing to roll him out there. Jazz Chisholm is the only obstacle in that lineup, so 100%, you know, roll out Mike Soroka this weekend.
No love for Jorge Soler.
Yeah, I forgot about him, honestly.
Guys had 21 bomb skis already.
Yeah, I forgot.
You know, that's one of my dogs this year.
You know what, man? He's so old. He's giving me dementia.
I hear you, brother. I'm just messing around. But yeah, Mike Soroka, 31% owned already on Yahoo. Damn, he got 19% ownership already, you know, this week. His last 3 starts, Matt, did you mention those in the minors? The last 3 starts specifically?
No.
It was 1.42 ERA, 18 strikeouts in 19 innings. He's kind of, from what I heard, though, messing around with his pitch mix down there. You know, he's kind of been a little bit more fastball heavy, I believe, as to where he normally messes around a little bit more with his breaking stuff. So, I mean, the Braves could have said, hey, you know, work on this. You know, this is the way we want you to throw your pitches more. We want you to change up your pitch mix. It seemed to be working out for him over his last 19 innings in the minors. We all know the upside. We all know Michael Soroka's upside, you know, in what was it, all the way back, if we go all the way back to 2017, where he really had that breakout year, 153 innings, 2.76 ERA. He's just been really, really dominant. And I think with Michael Soroka, give him the chance against that Marlins team, and we'll just see where it goes from there. But let's move on to our last guy for today, and that's going to be Sir Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez, man, I mean, I really didn't see this coming. I think we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, and he's still only 50% owned on Yahoo, which is kind of shocking to me. I thought he would have been a lot higher than that. But over the last 30 days, Ranger Suarez has been fantastic. 40 innings, 2 wins, 37 strikeouts, 1.35 ERA, 0.98 WHIP. Was a couple of years ago where Soroka had that sub-2 ERA and, monster second half. Did very, very well over that time. Let's see who he's got up in his next start. Washington Nationals. Come on, guys. Get Ranger Suarez on your team. If he's out there and he's a free agent in your league, he needs to be added. Make the room. If you have a question for us, join that Diamond Club, and we'll tell you, hey, if you should cut that guy for Ranger Suarez or not.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to say about Ranger is before we just, end, Ranger Suarez actually low-key has a great ERA on his career through 6 years, a 3.13 ERA. He low-key gets it done every year. He's not a K per 9 guy, even though right now he's about 1K off on the season. That will drop off, but he's somebody reliable you can roll out there on a good team. So as the Phillies turning around, Ranger Suarez can turn around and get you that win upside. So definitely add Ranger Suarez. And Dom, that being said, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, guys, that is all for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Shout out to our everydayers and new listeners. We truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. We will be back with a new episode tomorrow. I believe we're going to do a start or sit style episode. So, give us some feedback if you like that, if you don't like that. We're also open to suggestions for new episodes. We really want to hear from you guys, what you guys would like to hear from us. And lastly, but most importantly, join us on Subtext, become a member of the Diamond Club, and get all these exclusive updates, alerts. And Matt and I have been throwing out there, a couple of paragraphs here there about you, about different things. So if you want to hear that, you want to talk baseball with us, feel free to join the club. Matt, go ahead, chime in, my brother.
Sorry, guys. One last thing, and then we're getting out of here. If you guys want to hear about somebody, drop it in the comments of this video so that we put it out on Friday for you. So if you guys want somebody relevant to you, make sure you mention it to us. All right, guys. Peace.
See you.